get, if they send us an email, it won't come through. So now I'm going online to for a Zoom meeting.
This meeting is online.
The right side of the book.
I'm bringing you up, right?
So, yeah.
If I have my, sometimes, Joe, you have two machines in the same area, they compete with each other. And you hear noise. So I'm going to try, and if I run into that, I'll just go off. And
Mine's just not competing, it's just letting people in. That's why the noise.
Here.
Well, hi, group.
Yeah. And you just kind of, when you pick it back up again, you keep it a little bit loose, you know, so that it doesn't draw tight with the other colors. You put one on in the back and just trim it down. I'm gonna see where Tom is here. Well, Tom, are you in a place where Gina and I can see the presentation? I'm sorry. I was asking Tom if we could, he could set it up so we could see it. The quilts. He's got it.
Hey, there it is.
Everybody's here.
I was getting worried.
We're not quite all here yet.
Okay.
Give them another minute or two.
I see Amos and Jeanette. Should I give it a try and see if you can see my PowerPoint?
I will share with you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
But first, when I do that, you probably want to put yourself in speaker view.
Speaker view. There. Okay.
And then I will do the same because that's what will happen on our recording. But I will okay a share with you, and then you can just take off and do your fantastic thing. And then once you're finished, if you would be so kind as to let me know, and I'll ask Rick Hull to say a few words to wrap us up.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go to speaker view here, and then I'm going to share. Now I'm sharing with Rachelle Francis, and Rachel is doing our program today, and it's on the interesting art that she has created in the quilts, and they are, I must say, magnificent pieces of art. The second thing, she's going to let us in on some information about the Green Chalice program at her church, which is the Christian church in East Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be a really interesting operation to observe. And so I'm eager to hear what you've got to say, Rachel. So let's let's get started with that. And here comes the share.
You have to, okay.
Let's see here.
Did you be able to bring it up?
You've disabled my screen sharing.
Yeah, I've got to enable yours.
Is this food for David? I need to put it away.
Okay, you are the only one who's allowed to share. Do you see that?
No, it's saying host disabled participant screen sharing. It worked when I practiced with my daughter. Maybe I need to go back to this. Let me try. Nope, they're not letting me, you're not letting me share.
Let me hear.
Oh.
It stuck me in. There we go now.
Try it. Nope.
Mine says, please wait.
I'm going to make you the
Tom's
host
gonna let you in.
Okay.
and changing to you.
Oh, do I need to let people in now?
Yeah, but you also need to share.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yay. The waiting room. I guess I have to do this now. Well, how do I let them all in? Admit,
Admit all.
admit all. Okay, there's admit all. I think it's working.
Yes, yes.
You're working.
I'm working. I need to get rid of this box. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's start talking. Okay, I gotta let people in though every now and then, I guess.
Because you can't, because you lose control of that, right? Let's see if we sit on the window. Watch it on Daddy's.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Somebody.
Do I have to do something about that sound?
That is, somebody has the sound on a phone.
They need to be muted.
Maybe everybody else should mute themselves, maybe?
Yep, everybody should be muted except for you.
Okay, I'm gonna start talking. All right, so a long time ago, before 2005, there was a quilt in the dining room at the headquarters of the Disciple House. And I thought, as a quilter, well, I could do that too. I could make a quilt for the Disciple House. So I started. And the first one was in, okay, now I have to figure this out.
Room 9.
There we are. This was the first one I made in 2005. We started with the top floor in the headquarters, and actually we haven't gotten past there, as far as I know. So this one has a hidden star. I don't know if you can see the white is sort of a star. And I was just using fabrics I already had. That's the frugality of it. That's the recycling of it. In tying this together with the Green Chalice program, I was thinking, what's the connection? And the connection is that these quilts are recyclables. And so you get to sleep under recyclables when you're on the top floor at headquarters. And also I I like the idea of tithing with my quilts. I tithe with my knitting. I tithe with my offering every week. So that's my way of serving. And then I had a box that someone gave me of all these squares already cut out, and they were in an old Hens and Kelly's box. And old Buffalonians know that that was an old department store way back when. And so I tied it together with some bright yellow to make them look summery. And there are two of these in the twin beds. I don't know the numbers of rooms, but I call it these the sunny 60s. And then I think it was Betty who brought me up to the room at the top of the stairs. No, it's at the front of the building in headquarters. And she said, "Can you make a quilt that will match this rug?" And I looked at it, and I wasn't real excited about this rug, but I thought, okay. And the room shows you how colorless it was, except for that rug. I'm letting in 2 more people. Okay, so what I did was, and this started a whole pattern for me, what I did was ride my bike around Chautauqua, and I took pictures of any red or orange flowers that I saw in Chautauqua. And that is how we got to, see, once I let people in, then I can't switch. There we go. This was the result. And these are all pictures I took and printed out on fabric. And boy, talk about frugality and recycling. I think that green stripe was a dress that I cut up and made into strips for the fabric. So anyway, this started a whole thing of Chautauqua flowers photographs for my quilts. And it combined 2 hobbies of taking pictures and quilting. And then this one is a snowball, I call it. And the fabrics are thimbleberries, which is a really high quality quilting fabric that quilters will know. And then I made these green stars. I don't know what Betty asked me to do. Maybe she said green and pink. I would always get an assignment from Betty. And now I get my assignments from Kathy. But you can see on the right, they're 2 side by side. They're not exactly matching, but they're close. That was the challenge, was to make a quilt and then the next summer make one that matched it without the other one there for me to look at. And then I think those were 9 and 10. And then these are photographs of Chautauqua flowers in a twin beds in 2011 and 2012. Some close-ups. And then these might be my favorites. I don't know. I know, again, this was recycled from some other project, these the stripes. But these are photographs, again, of Chautauqua flowers. But then the next year was when we were saying goodbye to Grable. So on the top left corner is a picture of headquarters. And then the next picture in the middle is the little old lady doll across the street, across the brick walk. Yeah, you know her. Okay. And then there's a picture of Grable. And so that is kind of a memorial quilt to remember that special time, that special building. And then I have to tell a story to go with this. My pastor is Reverend Jan Mail, and she texted me one time, maybe 2 years ago, and she said someone has given me a great deal of fabric. It was a woman who was suffering from dementia and had to go into a nursing home, so her family had to get rid of all her fabric. And she said, "My marriage depends on me getting rid of it quickly." So I said, just, okay, put it on my porch. And I was expecting, 2 or 3 tubs of fabric on my porch, which would be, lovely. No, I came home to 19 tubs of fabric on my porch. I almost couldn't get on my porch. And it was a great deal of fabric, is right. So I had different friends come and go through it and take what they wanted. I took a lot of it to Savers. But one tub had this family that you're looking at of fabrics. And I thought, wow, these are all coordinated. This is a quilt. And that is what I made the last 2 quilts out of. this free fabric from Jan. I didn't buy a thing. And this is, they're called French Rose Queens. And these are up on the top floor, and I just finished the matching one. I don't think I put a picture of the new one in there, but it's like 3D because they are unstitched on the edge, and they're allowed to fray a little bit, so they get to be a little bit 3D. It's a super fun pattern. And this was my payoff, to see my grandson taking his nap last summer on the French Rose quilt. So that's my bonus. So then we're going to talk about the Green Chalice program of the Disciples of Christ. And I wonder how many of you know about this, but you're all on mute. So, okay, there's some hands. Okay, good. So Amos Acree and Jeanette DeJong, who are with us and who have presented the last couple weeks, we're carrying this torch and talking about the Green Chalice and really inspiring me. And then all of a sudden my fire was lit and I asked if I could join as well, which worked out really well because of the quarantine. The last few months, I have dedicated myself to advancing this as much as possible at our church so that we could continue to move forward in some way during this unusual time. So if you go to the website for the Disciples of Christ, I'm going to take you there and show you. This is led by Reverend Carol Devine. I thought I was going to take you there. There we are. Let me just show you around a little bit. All right, there's the Green Chalice program. And down at the bottom, if you look for resources, you'll find all the old newsletters, which we send out to our congregation every week. And the purpose of the Green Chalice program, I'm going to read, is to encourage and assist local congregations who wish to live out their faith by caring for creation. And it has 2 tiers. You can join by just following 3 simple steps, making a committee, basically, and signing that this is your intention. And that makes you a Green Chalice congregation. And then there's another process, which is what we're working on, to be a certified Green Chalice congregation. And somewhere I can show you how many. There are only 11 certified in the country. And let's see, somewhere there was a list of, no, I'm not finding it, of where they are all around the country. Hang on, I'm making you dizzy probably. Here we are, this will do it, I think. And I know you might be from all over the country, but this is separated by regions. If you see an asterisk, that means they're certified. And like I said, there's only 11. There's one in California. And I'm just going to scroll right down because you can go there and look at this on your own if you want. But we are in the Northeast region. I'm going to scroll down to that. See everybody who's working on this? And here's our Northeast region. We're the only ones. So we need some company in this. Hopefully I'm going to inspire some of you to get involved in this. So let me see if this is a catastrophe, if I go backwards. There we are. And so if you get to, here's level 1, you make a team, you sign the covenant, and you make 3 changes. Boom, you are now a Green Chalice congregation. Level 2 is a lot more challenging. There are 4 categories. Here is the certification overview. I'm not going to go there because we have to worry about time a little bit. I'm going to show you what we've done in all those 4 categories, I hope. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's try this. Yeah, okay. So Reverend Mail wrote this for an article that we had in the paper. We like that this is giving us a little visibility. Our town is very churched. There are a lot, the main street is lined with churches, and we are not the only ones who are having trouble keeping our numbers up. So this gives us a visibility and an image in the community, I hope, that we care about the earth and we're not just a little club unto ourselves. So here's what Jan said, and I'll read it. As a congregation, we are all about putting our faith into action. When confronted by the environmental issues facing us and our posterity, we have adopted a caregiver mindset rather than a caretaker attitude. The time has come to give care to the earth, its resources, and one another. The time has come to refrain from taking for our own convenience and benefit from our natural world. The time has come to give the earth, the seas, and its inhabitants the respect, appreciation, and value that is deserved. I thought that was particularly good. Right before the world changed, on February 29th, we were honored to go to the Climate Leap Forward workshop in Buffalo, which was just outstanding and very inspiring. Jim Atwell was the keynote speaker, and he's written Climate Church, Climate World. And there we are, that's our Green Chalice team. And thank you, Amos and Jeanette, for being here, and you can speak up at any time. Here's the first category is what we're having the hardest time doing. Keep in mind, we don't have a lot of money to throw around here and there, so a lot of this first category take money. So we're trying to do the things that we can do to make our church better without spending a lot of money. One of them was to have an energy audit, and that is our certificate of, wait a minute, I gotta let Kay in. We all want Kay here. Admit. Okay, hi Kay. Hi Kay. Okay, so this is, we just had the energy audit done and he was really helpful, and he showed us that, well, we need to do a recall on the water heater for one thing. That's gonna have an impact real quickly and it probably won't cost us too much. We have upgraded our lighting to LED. We're looking into tying into a solar energy program. That's where we need to do the most work. Okay, grounds and property. Wow, we got this. We do not use chemicals on our property. One of the things you could do is to establish a butterfly garden, and this was my baby. And there are listed the names that we put in. I have a gardening coach. She came over and said this was the spot we needed to use for our butterfly garden. It was covered with myrtle, so I dug up all this myrtle thinking everybody would be happy to take home a flat of myrtle, and that just wasn't the case. I don't know why, but anyway, we dug out the myrtle and put in all these what do I want to say, I can't think of the word. It brings in the butterflies and caterpillars. There we go. Pollinators, that's the word I wanted, pollinators. And you can see right in the middle, there we had a monarch butterfly visiting us. And then we have a compost bucket and piles started. We started a rain barrel in the middle. We put in a new tree. A sterling linden was what my friend advised because it would combat the pollution from the buses. We're across the street from the middle school and the buses sit there for a long time, idling. So that's our plan for the new tree. We hope it survives this hot, hot summer. And then the third category was worship and church practices. Yes, we recycle. I'm sure you all do. We even found out how to recycle our toners. Email me if you need more information on that. We use fair trade coffee. Our compost system. We banned styrofoam early in the game.
So they're gonna drop for a little while, but they'll be back.
We use our disposable dinnerware, and wonderful Jeanette stands and washes them after every get-together, of course, which has declined right now anyway. For Palm Sunday, we used Eco Palms. We put in a bike rack to encourage people to bike to church, or any of our neighbors to be able to put their bike away. We use a lot of creation topics in worship. For Jan's installation, she had a different name for it. I can't think of what she called it, but Jeanette made that amazing stole for her, and it celebrated trees in the Bible. And the trees, and Jeanette can talk about that more. It was just, it is exquisite. The trees that she used were figs, palm, and olive trees. And it's just full of symbolism and meaning. Our gifts to the attendants at the installation service were these beeswax wraps. I don't know if you've seen them. It's instead of using plastic saran wrap, you cover your leftovers with this beeswax infused fabric, and it just takes the shape of the container, and you can just reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. So that was our little eco-friendly gift. Next Sunday, we're having a whole service that is a celebration of nature. We're singing Birch Our Soprano, which is an allegory of music and nature being together. We'll have a green chalice moment. We're going to use photosensitive sheet paper to make silhouettes of sunlight and flowers. And then I'm doing a little concert, so I've got to work on that. And Jan's coming up with a little song called There's a Hole in My Sandal, which is a biblically based version of There's a Hole in My Bucket. Should be fun. Education and outreach is the fourth category. We sponsored a community recycling program and had a great turnout from the community. It was a hot topic. We had a new provider of services and a lot of questions. So that was a real service to the community to offer that. We joined together with 2 other churches for an Earth Day service on April 26th that was virtual. And that was kind of lovely to be able to work with other churches and do that. One of our parishioners donated 25 pitch pine seedlings that we passed out amongst our church and friends. For Easter, Jeanette, who has more ideas than I don't know who, made a bottle cap egg display for Easter out of recycled bottle caps, making art out of nothing. And Jan has hosted a beekeeping Zoom class for our spiritual draft series. That's a series of meetings that we've had on Wednesday nights that are trying to appeal to the unchurched. And we've done a lot of partnering with ACES, which is a unique organization to East Aurora, stands for Aurorans with Climate Energy Sense, and the Western New York Land Conservancy, and we're sponsoring their virtual gala. So again, we can raise some visibility and get involved with the wonderful work that these organizations are doing. And I think I finished too early. No, I didn't. We have time for questions. So can you see the quote at the bottom? Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world at once, thank goodness, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. The Green Chalice newsletter ends with this quote every time, and it means a lot to me. And that's it. Any questions? There we go. Now I can see you all. And Amos and Jeanette can answer as well. But you're all muted. Do I have to do that? Do I have to unmute everybody?
Yep.
Uh-oh. I don't know how. I heard Jeanette laugh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jeanette, talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I love the whole presentation. And as an ACES board member, of course, I love all the environmental talk because we know that at this moment, we are in this whole pandemic, but the environment is big time part of this. So I love what you presented. I also love that you had the local flowers and plants, because it was not just pollinating plants, but it was also the native species, and that makes a big difference. Because they will be resilient, they will survive in the future, and it takes less water. It's just a very good choice if you consider having new plants or things added to your garden. So that is a major plus, Rachel, and I love that whole addition to our garden.
For the butterfly garden, yes, my gardening coach is an expert on native plants and a big promoter of native plants, as is the Land Conservancy. So
Yeah.
I've had a lot of native plants preached into my ear. Amos, did you want to add anything?
No, you did a very good job.
I would like to say something. I love the quilts. They are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you did another one that was a hanging quilt in the kitchen, didn't you?
No, that's what inspired me. That was someone else, I think.
Oh,
That's Fran Ward. That's Fran Ward.
Yeah,
They're
her
listening
first name is.
to Rachel
the other thing that amazed
because
me
they're
was
on,
to
they're
see
on the
that
computer. There's
church
my face
the
and your
only
face
one
now.
in Ohio, Disciples Christian Church. And I remember when I was on the committee that worked for those environmental things at our church, but I had no idea that we were part of the Green Chalice program. So that was wonderful to see.
Yep.
And I've been trying to have a butterfly garden myself here at home, and I have milkweed and a lot of weeds and butterfly bushes and all that. So I've gotten some of that information from Holden Arboretum, which is very close to me. And so I think this was a wonderful program. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long does it take?
Uh-oh.
A minute.
Somebody has two devices on or something. That's what makes that happen. If you have two devices on, you are get that feedback.
Well, actually, in our,
We have
in
3.
our Chautauqua Rachelle house, we have about 4 on.
How long does it take to make a quilt?
You know, people always ask me that, and I don't even know. I don't know. I just work on it until it's done, and then I don't do the quilting myself. I send it out, and I have it machine quilted by wonderful ladies in Gowanda. They're very reasonable and they're very artistic, so I just don't have the big machine that you need to do that. I do the piecing and the finishing.
Well, Rachel, as always, it was really well done. Thank you for taking the time to put this together for all of us.
It's Deputy.
That's my son. That's I know that
And
voice.
East Aurora Christian Church is so lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rachel.
I'm so lucky to be there.
I think they were gonna go out for a little while, so you can just.
Rachel,
Yes?
it's Betty here. I don't have
Betty.
a picture. My camera is busted on my computer.
Okay.
But Carol Devine is a young member of our churches in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
David worked with her grandfather, Will Hayes, a noted educator and civil rights worker in Eastern Kentucky. And it's just been fun to renew that friendship. He and his wife died, but it's no surprise that Carol is doing something big.
I wondered
Here,
if
you can sit here.
Of course you know.
Stay there. Great program. Thank you.
And Betty, by the way, is next week's program. Maybe Tom wants to plug that.
Yeah, not that Betty needs any plugs.
I'll plug it. I found a lot of funny things. So stay tuned.
Well, hopefully you'll get your camera fixed, Betty. It'll be nice to see your face.
No, I'll use David's. David is in the other room. That's why we're.
I wanted to tell about, we did a butterfly garden at my church, and we did it in connection with the young children, the Sunday school, and they got to see how the whole life cycle of the butterfly went and stuff like that.
Wonderful.
Then we did a program we happen to have some acreage behind the church that's just wild. And so with the youth group, we did a scavenger hunt, and we gave them all the components of a national, I think it was called National Federation of Wildlife Certified Garden or Space. Habitat is what it is. And we gave them these components and then scavenger hunt to try to see if we had them in our property. And it turned out we did have enough of them, so we became a certified
Yay.
wildlife habitat. So that was kind of fun to do it together with the youth group.
That's wonderful. If you go to the Green Chalice website that I showed you, there are many other ideas. We were just like have a community garden at your church, have a farmer's market at your church, a lot of wonderful ideas, not all of which are going to fit your church, but it's great to get ideas and see what you can do.
The UCC also has a very, very extensive program called the Creation Justice Ministries. And they have a whole booklet of ideas for churches. And we've used them all.
I just see that Cheryl is on with no picture, but as she can hear us, that's Cheryl McDermott. Many of you remember Bill and Cheryl, and we just are so glad she's on.
Good turnout today.
Well, thank you, Rachel, and
Thank you.
everyone. Could we ask that Rick Hall send us off and with words of encouragement?
Okay. Sure. Thanks, Tom, and
You know him.
thanks, Rachel, for your program today and the others. There's just so many creative ways in which members of the disciples at Chautauqua contribute to the life of the fellowship, and much appreciated. It makes our experience there richer and better. However, it doesn't pay all the bills. And so each week during this, we've taken a moment to remind you of the ongoing financial challenge, especially this year when we lost out on the bulk of our room rents. A number of folks contributed their room rent as a donation, but that probably will cut into the donations they would have made while they were there during the summer. So while we're hanging in there and holding our own, if you haven't yet made a contribution for the year, your gift would be appreciated. And I was thinking of trying to find some old fabric to send, but I'll send some money as well. So. Thank you for all that. How about, Tom, if I close this with prayer?
Thank you.
Yes, gracious God, you whom we call creator and call creation out of us, we give thanks for all who have created Chautauqua disciples, for all who create Chautauqua. We even live with the creation of viruses that make us ill, and those who seek ways to create health and well-being, cures and vaccines. So strengthen us as a community that we might be faithful to you, continuing to create your way in all the world. In the way of Jesus, whom we serve, we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Still here. I just want to we're all here.